Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I am taking a leaf out of our dearly departed friend Dave Oliver's book this morning. No more mistakes. If I cock up, it stays in. Last week I had, it must have been 12 or 13 false starts. Back to the beginning, start all over again. And as you know, if you've done this sort of thing, once you make one mistake, you're going to make another and another, and it just snowballs. And Dave used to tell me he told me on numerous occasions that if he makes a mistake, he owns it and just leaves it in. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So no more blooper reels. Not from me anyway, that's the plan. Let's see how we go. Right, before I get on to comments on the last video, just a quick story. This bloody cough is driving me mad. Rob Gear, one of our newest members, I think he joined probably about 3-4 months ago. He comments occasionally, but I think he mostly just sort of sits on the sideline, reads the reviews, and enjoys the content. He messaged me, I think it was yesterday or the day before, something like that, basically asking whether anybody's allowed to post in the group. And just to reiterate, anybody that is a member of the group can post anything they want that's movie related within the group. There are no rules. Don't worry if you let the odd swear word slip out. Don't worry about anything like that, or any politically correct nonsense. Don't worry about that either. Obviously it's on your own head if you get kicked off, not by me but by Facebook. But you can pretty much post anything you want as long as it's sort of movie related, and that goes for everybody within the group. So Rob, don't worry. You sort of put on a couple of cracking reviews. One of Godzilla versus Kong. No, it wasn't X-Kong, a Monkey Man, the new Dev Patel film. Both cracking little reviews, Rob, so keep them coming, mate. Honestly, just anything you've seen, whether it be on the TV, at the cinema, or even movies that you've seen before a long time ago that you just fancy talking about, you put a review on, mate. You go for it. Go for your life. Godzilla x Kong, as I said last night, I think what I need to do is go back on the ones that I've seen before. I think I've said this before. I didn't really rate sort of the MonsterVerse films that have come before this one. Didn't really enjoy them that much. But I think I probably deserve to give them, or they deserve to have a second chance. So I will give them another look, and then I'll have a look at Godzilla x Kong and see whether it either makes more sense or whether I enjoy it anymore. Monkey Man is definitely not my kind of film. I've heard so many reviews on this basically saying that it is really, really brutal, extremely violent. And as anybody within the group knows, I don't really do extreme violence anymore. I'm a bit of an old lady like that nowadays. I just can't watch it. So Monkey Man is probably not one that I will be taking in, unless you guys can convince me differently. Much like you did when we were talking about Reacher. Not. You know how that went down. So yeah, Rob, post anything you want, mate. Movie related, old reviews, new reviews. If you want to ask a question within the group concerning movies, honestly, just post away, mate. You go for it. Right, some comments on the last video. I'll start with Steve Mack, our Criterion guy. You are right about Walkabout 4K, and it's a Criterion US release. So that's sounding promising. I shall have a look into that one. I've got it on Blu-ray. Is it Blu-ray or DVD? Yes, I've got it on Blu-ray already. So I'm in no great hurry for that one. I would probably err on the side of hanging on till it gets a UK release and grabbing a copy of that. But we'll see how we go with that one. But thanks for that, Steve. Much appreciated. As I said last week, I'm fairly sure that the Australian outback landscape looks absolutely stunning in 4K. So yeah, that is one that I'm definitely going to invest in, but I can probably wait until it gets a UK release. So thanks for that, Steve. David Mansell, great recommendations. Cheers, Dave. I can't for the life remember what I recommended. A week's passed since then, but I appreciate the comment, mate. Jason K, Ginger Ninja. Honestly, I couldn't say what my favourite year of movies was. Every year has some great films. If any year, it would be 1984. A great mix of movies that I still love to this day. Dune, Red Dawn, Ghostbusters, The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai, and The Terminator. Dune, the David Lynch version. It's got quite a kick in over the last probably over the last couple of years since the new Timothy Chalamet version came out. Everybody's basically been saying that the new Dune is miles better, by a country mile better than the original Dune. I remember watching the original Dune, not basically being able to make any sense out of it. It was good visually; it was absolutely brilliant, and obviously Sting in his space underpants. Who can forget that? But the film itself, I wouldn't mind another look at it, just to see what I make of it before I move on to the new Dune duo, which I believe there's a third one in the works at the moment. I've not seen the first Dune of the new one, so I've certainly not seen the second, but I wouldn't mind taking a look at the Lynch version again, to see what I make of that. Red Dawn, cracking movie, really, really good. Early Patrick Swayze number, that one, wasn't it? Ghostbusters, total and utter classic, never ages, not to me anyway. The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai. I bumped into a trailer of this on YouTube, probably, must be about 6 months ago, and I grabbed a copy of it offline. I've not watched it yet, there's no surprise to anybody, but I must admit I was really intrigued by it. As soon as I saw the title, I think it was in a list of movies released in 1984, I thought, I remember the VHS box of that, and I could see it in my head. Got it up on Google exactly as I remembered it, but it's one that I never had any interest in watching, and I don't know why, because I love me Star Wars, anything like that, but that's one, along with Battle Beyond the Stars, that I really do want to catch up with. So I will be taking in The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai at some point. The Terminator, what can you say that's already not been said? Brilliant movie. I'm a fan of those animal attack films, and there are so many good ones in the 70s and 80s. Rich pickings in those 2 decades for those, my God. I must have a good handful upstairs that I've shown off quite a few times during different threads. So the Day of the Animals, God, there were so many. There's one that I do want to catch. It was released around about 1976. It was called Rattlers, to do with rattlesnakes. I remember the poster for that, and I remember it being at Burton Odeon, but never actually going to see it. I think I was just slightly too young. It was a double A, if I remember right, which is over 14. So I'd have been just coming up to 14 when it was released, but I looked a hell of a lot younger than 14 at the time, so I never actually got to see it. It's one that I've always wanted to see, but I don't believe it's ever got either a DVD release or, especially not a Blu-ray release. I don't remember it coming out on VHS either, because I'd have grabbed that straight away. So that's one that I do want to see, but there were so many of them, mate. Kingdom of the Spiders. There was one to do with ants. There was tarantulas, the deadly cargo, the savage bees. They were everywhere. But I would say that I've lost the thread. What was I on about? Which film was I on about? Oh God, here we go. I'll perhaps come back to that one. And you put including Logan's Run. Was Logan's Run an animal attack movie? I don't remember that. Did they get attacked by something? I only watched it recently, but I can't remember whether there was an animal attack in there. Is it more to do with sci-fi, that one, Jay? Love that movie. I'm still getting through the TV series. Yeah, I've got to start that yet. As I said last week, I want to try and tie up all of the loose ends, movie and TV wise, that I've got sort of hanging around that I've not finished before I move on to anything else. But Logan's Run is high on that watch list. The world will be a much better place without those reality shows, all of them. If they really want to make a reality show, drop them on an island and let them fight for survival, Running Man style. Oh yeah, works for so many things too. We could put politicians there as well. Yeah, that's one. But absolutely, I really don't want to start on the Kardashians and stuff like that again. I saw about 5 minutes of another one the other night. Is it Made in Chelsea? What the fuck is that all about? it's basically just a load of posh knobs acting like dickheads. That's all it is. No, 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 not doing it. Not doing it again. Suffice to say, I don't like reality TV, which is strange in a way because I did used to enjoy Big Brother when it first came on for about the first 2 seasons. But as per usual with these things, they drag them out for years and years and years until people basically get absolutely sick to the back teeth of them. And then they finally cancel them, and you say you wave goodbye to them, and that's it. You're never going to see them again. A couple of years later, guess what? Channel 5 picked it up, and it's now back again. And it's like, for fuck's sake, I thought people were pissed off with it. Now they want it back again. I haven't seen a single episode of Big Brother, certainly not this new incarnation. Absolutely not. No way. Never in a million years. So thanks for that, Jay. Much appreciated. Enjoyed your reviews, by the way. What did I watch last week? I'm looking forward to watching Horror in the High Desert. My God, you were gushing about that one. I saw the trailer to this on Prime probably about 2 months ago. Is it a documentary? It looks a bit like a documentary or a mockumentary. Not sure. But I do remember watching that trailer and thinking, Christ, that looks good. And now you've talked about it, I'm definitely going to be taking a look at that one. So thanks for that, Jay. Callie, morning Callie. Saturday morning Tony time with a brew and a smoke. Is there any better way to start the day? God, I remember when I used to smoke. I couldn't even get out of bed until I had a fag. Oh God, happy days. Not. So I caught up with Higgis, by the way. I'll be coming on to that in a minute. I've got some notes here that I need to get into some sort of order before I try to talk about that. So morning Callie anyway. Mark, we're talking about prisoner cell block H and people being rushed into hospital but not wanting to go until an episode had finished. Yes, the programme mentioned was prisoner cell block H. It reminded me of my mum going into labour with me and refusing to go to the hospital until she had watched Dallas. Totally get that. I've seen all of Manifest. We were talking about shows that made absolutely no sense. We were talking about Lost. There was another one that I still can't remember what we were talking about. But I said that I was considering very, very slightly maybe watching Lost again, and then thought better of it after about 30 seconds because it made no sense the first time round. So you put, I've seen all of Manifest. It's not bad at all. The ending is pretty self-explanatory. That sounds okay. Pretty similar to Lost. What? Really? I never saw the last season, so I don't know. But a mate of mine watched it, who I saw a few weeks afterwards, and he said it made no sense to him. So he must have been watching something different. I don't know, or maybe he didn't actually watch it to the end. You put just without the island. Manifest is the same as Lost, just without the island. You're not doing a very good job selling this to me, but I wouldn't mind a look at it because it looks intriguing. I love the Lord of the Rings movies, but a somewhat controversial opinion of mine, the Hobbit trilogy is better. Ooh. Yeah, I've been advised to watch the Hobbit trilogy before I move on to the actual Lord of the Rings, because apparently they're prequels and it'll make more sense. Oh, that wouldn't sit right with me. I tend to watch things in the order that they're done, same as the Star Wars ones. As much as Disney Plus say you need to watch the prequels first if you're going to do it in chronological order, I would still be much more likely to watch Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back and Jedi first and then move on to the prequels. And I get the feeling it's going to be the same with the Middle Earth trilogy, well, trilogy times 2 as such, but we'll see. The Hobbit trilogy is better. Yeah, well, I shall let you know when I've watched them. Great video. See you same time next week. You certainly will, sir. I shall be here. Thanks for that, Mark. Guy, I just can't decide on a favourite year for movies. Guy, just give it some thought, for God's sake. Just pull one out of the air. Anything will do. Just something I can talk about. I used to always see the end credits of Sons and Daughters waiting for kids TV as well. Yeah, we were talking about this last week, sort of about Aussie soaps and stuff like that. I think Jason Kay was saying he can't stand it because his missus is watching it at the moment. I'm waiting for it to stream. It must be, if Channel 5 are streaming Prisoner Cell Block H, surely the natural progression of that is to pick on Sons and Daughters or something like that. I would certainly hope so, because I've been looking at some grossly overpriced DVD box sets as a possible Christmas present for Rob. But you're talking, to get these things, it's 500 quid ish. But if you go on a site called Etsy, there's a lady on there who's selling them all on not a memory stick, like a hard drive, for 90 quid. But I'm just a bit nervous of the quality. I'm hoping that she's got them off these Australian DVDs, in which case I will almost certainly snap that up. But 500 quid for a DVD set that you're probably only going to watch once. We'll see. Where are we? Guy, for fuck's sake, watch Knight Rider. I will. Honestly, I will get round to these things, I promise you. As I say, loose ends at the moment. I'm just trying to tie up all these ones that I've started and not finished. There's probably a couple more that I've forgotten about upstairs, and I'll look on the shelf and think, oh shit, yeah, I started that as well. I just want to get all that done before I move on to another one. And then definitely, same as X-Men, the original animated series. I want to start that, but they're only 20 minutes, so there's no harm in starting that one, because I could watch one of them basically while doing pretty much nothing else. So yeah, Knight Rider is on the card, same as Airwolf, A-Team, all of these ones that I never saw in the 80s. I don't know why. I can't remember why I never watched them. I've obviously seen bits of them, but I certainly never sort of made the effort to watch it religiously every week. But yeah, I will get round to them. Not many comments this time. I'm too hungover. Dear God, really? That's a surprise. Thanks anyway, Guy. Much appreciated. Jason P. Oh my God, there's quite a bit to get through. Jay. Great vid as per Tone. You will love the Mission Impossible movies. They just get better and better. I am looking forward to those. Definitely. I do remember watching the original years ago. I remember it didn't make much sense, but I could have been pissed or doing. I don't know what it was, but it didn't make much sense, and I kind of shied away from them after that. But I am committed to taking a look at them as soon as I have finished let me get this right, I've got the Apes trilogy on the go, which is the last trilogy, Dawn, I can't remember what the second one was, the War of the Planet. I want to watch those because I've just finished the original, it's not quadrilogy, what would they call it, the original 5 movies. I've watched those, and I would like to watch the series that follow, which means I can do it all in order. So the series from 1974, I think, is next. Then the present day trilogy, and then Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes when that hits. What other franchises have I got on the go? There's at least another one or two that I need. Oh, Spider-Man, that's the other one, which I'll be coming on to a bit later, actually. So yeah, well, once they're done, I will move on to Mission Impossible, because as I've said before, the Middle Earth trilogy, I'm going to need to devote a lot of time to that, with them being the 4-hour extended versions. So there's 6 of them, so you're talking 24 solid hours of movies. So that is going to be, almost certainly watch a couple the next time that I'm off work, a couple the time after that. I will have watched them by the end of the year. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, fuck's sake, you don't take that long. It will, actually. So bear with me on that one. Right, now for a bit of observation of something you said. Here we go. I said, apparently, my mum had sons and daughters on every time I got home from school. I instantly thought, surely you'd have left school by then. So, of course, with me being me, I had to check. I go, Jessica Fletcher's on the job. August 1962 you were born. February 1983, Sons and Daughters first aired on UK television. Why would you even think about that? This meant you were 20 years old when it was aired. How long did sixth form last, you cheeky sod? I got it wrong, didn't I? It must have been work. It must have been when I got home from work she was watching it. I do remember getting in most days and she was sitting there with a cup of tea and a bicky watching Sons and Daughters. And I had to watch sort of the last sort of 10-15 minutes of it and got kind of hooked on it. Sorry, Miss Marple. I got that completely wrong. But you have done me bang to rights on that one. Let's see. Glad you're enjoying Never Seen. I'm loving it, Jace, and I really do hope that you keep it going. There's no reason why you can't. It doesn't have to be just 50. Just do one every now and then afterwards. I just enjoy it. It's just the thing of coming on every Saturday and seeing which one you've gone for. And most weeks it's like, wow, can't wait to see what you make of that one. I've watched 2 more movies for the thread this week, so definitely going into July. I want to get to 50 movies, which will be December. It won't go no further than that, I'm afraid. Yes, it will. Your Lord has spoken. It will go on. I've found another possible 30 movies that I've never seen that I wouldn't mind giving a go. Even a film that I've not mentioned, that I've not entertained since I walked out of the cinema in 1990 because it was crap. I want to give that another go after 34 years. As you said before, people's viewing habits change, and their opinions change. I can't name one off the top of my head, but I'm sure there are movies that I probably watched in the 70s or 80s that I thought nothing of at the time that I would probably watch now and think, wow, how on earth could I have had such a negative opinion of that? So yeah, I do get that your opinion could very well change after 34 years, but I'm looking forward to seeing what that one is. I went through IMDb's top 300 movies from 1965 to 1999. Took me bloody ages, I bet it did. And came up with about 35 movies. 2 of them made the thread, 3 were turned off as they were crap. Yeah, sounds about right. So I think it's going to last until December. Yeah, I hope it does, mate. I honestly do. I really enjoy that thread. Oh, and Blitz is not set in the 70s. It's set in present day, which proves I haven't fucking watched it yet. Maybe you're thinking of Statham's The Bank Job, which is set in the 70s, and it's a true story. Very good, underrated movie. I've got this on Blu-ray. I do need to sort of dig this one out. I get the feeling Rob would probably enjoy that one, with it being set in the 70s. So I think that's one I'm going to go and drag down and put by the TV. That's going to be one of the next movies that we move on to. Bedknobs and Broomsticks. I think I was showing it off last week when I was showing off my favourite movies, or the movies that I've got from 1971, and basically saying that I would love the full uncut version. And then looking at the bottom of the box, I noticed it probably is the full uncut version. You were showing off yours. This is my full uncut DVD version. Includes the whole Portobello Road song. That's the bit they cut. Yes, I remember. Yes, I remember reading about it. They cut most of that out because they thought it was too overblown and boring and this, that, and the other. But you know, if you're going to release it uncut, for fuck's sake. So if yours is 133 minutes, which it is, long, you have the uncut version. I wouldn't want the Blu-ray, as this DVD is years old now, before Disney turned into pussies. Quite right. They may change the word knob to handle. If you've seen Bedknobs and Broomsticks, you'll know exactly the portion of the movie that refers to. And the box has got this peculiar warning. I don't know whether this is on your box or whether it's on mine. I'll have to have a look. Contains no material likely to offend or harm. Harm? Seriously? Honestly? More like contains no stupid warnings likely to make us look like mollycoddling wankers, more like. Another one I don't want to get into because I'll be here for ages if I get onto, people issuing warnings on things that shouldn't be there and this, that and the other. Never seen it for this week. Was Narrow Margin. I really, really enjoyed this. I haven't seen it for quite a few years. Gene Hackman and Ann Archer. Really, really good. Mark, you said nope, as in never heard of it. Dave Taylor, you were equally as direct, never heard of it. Jason says, Tony, you've seen it. Holy moly. Occasionally I do run into a movie that I've actually seen. You put this was actually, this was okay actually. I wouldn't watch it again, as it's took me 34 years to watch it now. Not sure why I didn't pick this up in the video shop to watch, but this has been rectified now. You're probably too busy picking up things like bloody Confessions of a Window Cleaner or Adventures of a Sodding Taxi Driver or whatever it was you used to watch back then. It's a cracking movie. If you've never seen it, I'll just read this brief synopsis that Jace kindly put for us. A woman secretly witnesses the murder of her blind date for the evening by a top mafia boss. She immediately goes into hiding without informing the authorities. When they finally catch up with her, she is unwilling to testify to what she has seen, but the mafia are on her trail. Accompanied by a deputy district attorney, this is Gene Hackman, the woman boards a train travelling through a remote part of Canada. The mafia know him, but they have never seen her. It's brilliant. If you've not seen Narrow Margin, highly recommended. Very reminiscent of a Hitchcock thriller. So yeah, if you've not seen Narrow Margin, grab it. It's brilliant. I think I've just watched the worst film I've ever seen. That's quite a claim, Jace, that one. I had to watch it all the way through to see how bad it really gets. Trust me, it got fucking worse. What's even worse is that Tony Harris owns this shite, for fuck's sake. What's this then? It could be any one of my collection, knowing you. Find out what it is next Saturday. I'm really looking forward to that. You've definitely got the art of suspense down to a T with that one, Jace, like that. By the way, where did you get that brilliant never seen graphic from? Well, you got never seen on the cinema screen. I want one. I need one for my own it but never seen it thread, which I'm definitely going to start. I think I started it last week with Blitz, but it'd be nice to have a little bit of graphics to go with it. So where did you get that from, and how did you make it? Was it? If it was Canva, yeah, I'm laughing because I've got Canva, but I really, really want that. I think that's really nice. It's a cracking piece of artwork. So thanks for all that, Jace. Much appreciated. Rick, the premiere for The House on Mansfield Street 2 is on the 28th. Yours truly makes an appearance. This is Rick Mallin. His next film that he's going to be in. We got a movie star on the group. I think he's fucking brilliant. Mansfield Dark Productions are bringing this one out, and they've got quite a roster of found footage films that I'm looking at and thinking, I wouldn't mind look at some of these. You got let's see, you got the original House on Mansfield Park, 2 movies, Video Killer and 13 Sherwood Avenue. Both look amazing. So I'm going to be grabbing those and taking a look at some point to see what we're in for with the Rick Mallin's next movie. So, and I believe One Night Rental is doing extremely well. It's picking up awards at festivals all over the place. Well done, guys. Well done. Very well deserved. Scott, it's finally happened. Dave Oliver has reached 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. This is absolutely wonderful news. Thank you to everyone that has subbed to his channel and to get him to this milestone. He will be so happy, and we've all done him proud here. It is a milestone as well. I've yet to reach that one. I'm a long way off that one yet. But he did. He well deserved it. Lovely guy, cracking channel, and we are going to miss him. We are missing him. Something rotten. So that's brilliant news, and I'm sure he's looking down on us saying, yeah, told you we'd get there, told you I'd get there. So what are we on? 27 minutes. What can I do very, very quickly? Oh, here we go. Terrifier 3. Oh God, releases Christmas this year. Rick says, I can't wait. I bloody can. Oh my God, I did watch Terrifier the original. Enjoyed it, thought it was a bit overly violent, but it was very much cartoon violence. I know from what I've read that I probably would not make it through Terrifier 2, and I think if the director, who I believe is named Damien Leone, is thinking along the lines that I'm thinking of, he's probably going to make this even more violent and gross. Which will do absolutely nothing for me, so I will not be watching Terrifier 3. I know for a fact I wouldn't get through the bedroom scene in Terrifier 2, even though I have seen it on the tiniest possible screen with no sound. It still looked absolutely fucking revolting. So, Terrifier 3, yes, I absolutely can wait for that one, Rick. But I know you're a big horror fan, and you will really enjoy that one. Brutality reigns. So, right, I'm going to take a break for a few seconds, folks. I'll be back in a minute. And we're back. Right, where to start? What have I been watching? Well, pizza and a movie night last night. We'll start with that one. We watched a movie called Wicked Little Letters. Stars Olivia Colman and Jessie Buckley. 2 women live in a little village called Littlehampton, and somebody is sending poison pen letters to basically the whole village, and they're trying to find out who it is. If you like your comedy sweary, you will absolutely love this. We just laughed all the way through it. Um, I think it is. I mean, these letters that they are sending out are extremely sweary. They read out a lot of them in court. They read out a lot of them during the course of the movie. Jessie Buckley plays an Irish lady who is what you might call rather basic as far as language goes. And Olivia Colman is the complete opposite. She's very religious, lives with a over religious mum and dad. Um, it is just funny seeing Olivia Colman swear like a sailor all the way through this. It's just brilliant. And as I say, the process of finding out who is actually sending the letters, which you actually find out probably about 3/4 of the way through it. That was my only probable criticism, is that you pretty much know who it is, but I absolutely did not see it coming. So, if you like your comedy raw, sweary, brilliantly acted, Timothy Spall plays Olivia Colman's dad. There's one or two other stars in there as well. I can't remember who they are now, but it is really, really good. I would highly recommend it. Definitely give it at least a 9 out of 10. I reckon this is going to be a Blu-ray purchase when it comes out. We thoroughly enjoyed it. Absolutely laughed like crazy all the way through it. So yeah, if you like your comedy broad, Wicked Little Letters is definitely worth a look. Let's see. Jason, you said, just noticed this on the dodgy stick, along with a movie called Damaged, starring Samuel L. Jackson. I watched the first 20 seconds of the trailer and turned it off, but not for the reason you may think. I thought, now this looks good, and didn't want to see any more. It looks like we have a Sunday evening double bill lined up. I can't wait to see what you... I've not heard of the Samuel L. Jackson movie, the Damaged one. Not heard of that one. But I'm really curious to know what you think of Wicked Little Letters. I'm going to make a prediction and say that you are going to love it, probably for the same reason that I did. Obviously, swearing is funny. It is. It just is. But it's even funnier when you've got somebody like Olivia Colman doing it. So I reckon you're going to love it. If you don't, I'll be really, really surprised. So can't wait to see your review on that one. Right, finally caught up with Higgis. You did 2 episodes, collectibles, which I really, really enjoyed. As I say, I never really got into the collectible, collecting figures and stuff like that. I just never did. I've got odd ones, which you'll very shortly see on this shelf behind me when I've cleared all those books off. I'm going to try and do that after I finish recording this, in which case I can get all the figures that I've got just up here onto there, including that wonderful Phantasm set that Chris sent me. I can't wait to get that on display. I can't wait for the first person to say, "What's that behind you? Where'd you get that from?" I love that. So yeah, I never got into that side of it, but you know, you and I can't remember his name. What was his name? Gaz. Cracking guess, by the way. You bought a subject that is completely alien to me, down to a level that I kind of got, and I really like that. So you obviously saved the best one till last. I had no idea there were so many different versions of these toys. By the way, toys, is it, what do you call them, toys or figures? Some people get insulted when you call them toys. They're not toys at all. But yeah, there was so many different types of... You must have shown off at least 3 or 4 different types of Predator. I had no idea. But you definitely saved the best till last, and that was that Necronomicon Book of the Dead from Evil Dead 2. What a thing of beauty that is. I take it that's not available anymore, because if it was, I'd be seriously thinking of investing in that. It's just gorgeous to look at, and it's one of those things that you wouldn't actually do anything with. You just have it on one of those little easel stands somewhere, just basically on display, a bit like that Scala book that I've got back there. I really want to display that, not just on a bookshelf. It's too big to put on any bookshelf, but on a little display easel of some sort. So yeah, I did really enjoy that episode. And then you moved on to, let's see, what was yesterday's? The Boys. The Marvel series, The Boys, which I haven't seen yet. But the episode was great, guys. Love the little Dave Liver. These bloody notes. Love the Dave Oliver tribute it's supposed to read. I'm sure Dave would have laughed at that. So, yeah, it was a nice little tribute, that, guys. I think pretty much everybody's been doing it this week, haven't they? He was such a prominent member of the community, you know what I mean? You can't not say something. But he did a lovely little job there. And just a little message for Jimmy Lee Clifford. If you're watching, I haven't seen Supernatural either. It's one I've looked at once or twice on Prime and thought, shall I get into that? And then I look how many episodes there are, and I thought, oh my Christ, no. Let's get through one of the ones that with the series that we're actually on at the moment first before we start to invest in time in another one. But Supernatural is one I wouldn't mind watching, but Callie seemed to take great exception to the fact that you hadn't seen it. So if she comes anywhere near you with a pineapple, just run like fuck. Take it from me, you don't want to know. Life After the Navigator. You were talking about this. I saw this a while ago. This is the documentary about Joey Kramer, the young lad that starred in Flight of the Navigator, and basically what happened to him afterwards. Oh my God, it's a tragic tale. It's all to do with like crime and drunkenness and drugs, and he just went down that rabbit hole of things that all these child stars seem to go down. I don't know whether it's because they suddenly come into all this money and they don't know what to do with it. I don't know, but it was such a tragic tale. But it did. I'm sorry if I'm going to spoil this to anyone that's not seen it. It does at least have a fairly happy ending. He did come through the other side of it, and he seems to be a fairly sort of rounded person nowadays, which is completely the opposite to what he was sort of 30 years ago. But you wouldn't think it. I was only watching Flight of the Navigator probably last year, first time I'd ever seen it. Loved it. I thought he was brilliant in it, and then I ran into this documentary about what happened afterwards, and I thought, no. Half of you thinks, do you really want to know this? You know what I mean? Because it kind of doesn't sully your memory of the film, but it does make you think very differently about it. But yeah, it's a cracking documentary. If you've not seen it, it's called Life After the Navigator. I believe it's on Prime at the moment. And you did, we were talking about the boys. I accept the challenge, by the way. I just want to get one more series watched, and I think it's going to be Life on Mars. And yes, I have broached the subject with Rob, and he's happy to watch it. He said straight away, isn't that the one where he goes back in time? I says, yeah, back to 1973. I went, oh yeah, go on then. So I'm gonna go back to the start of it, because I'm already 4 episodes in and loving it, but I don't mind watching those 4 again. So yes, we will be watching that, probably starting this week, but it's not going to be every night. It's not going to be one of those binge watch things. It's going to be, once a week or something like that. So I will let you know how we get on with that. But after we've watched Life on Mars, I will almost certainly start watching The Boys. Now that's definitely not Rob's cup of tea, but it is mine. From what you said. So, yeah, Callie, the challenge is accepted. The gauntlet has been thrown down, and yes, I accept. I will give that a go. You also described The Boys, or somebody quoted, you read out a quote basically saying, The Boys is what would happen if you gave the Kardashians capes. Dear fucking God, no. Not selling me on it. Not selling me on it still. You know how I feel about these bloody Kardashians and all that lot. I'm going to pretend I never heard that. So, and you also said it's the perfect antidote to Marvel fatigue, which is basically what I've got. I still haven't picked up my journey of the Marvel movies. I've got to go back, and I know I've got to, but again, loose ends. As soon as I get all those watched, I can then get my viewing into some kind of an order, and that's what what's that app called that I'm constantly on about? What the bloody hell is it? The one with all the film reviews, and I've got the watch list on. Letterboxd. That's what Letterboxd is for, is getting my viewing habits into some kind of an order and then sticking to it. And basically, instead of having a stack of DVDs and Blu-rays by the side of the television, just bring down 2 or 3 and say, they're the ones I'm going to watch this week, and do it that way. So yeah, cracking episodes, guys. Really enjoyed those. Looking forward to seeing what you come up with next. Jason K, our Ginger Ninja, love this week's Trashy Tuesday review, by the way. I've got some catching up to do with your videos. I looked on your channel the other day. There's no end that I've not seen yet, so I do need to catch up. But Zombie Creeping Flesh, I remember seeing that. Oh my God, it must have been early 80s, something like that, when it first came out. and there was a whole slew of them, wasn't there? There was zombie flesh eaters. Um, I can't even remember. There were so many of them, which is why I got it confused. I think I put a comment underneath your review, basically saying that I still can't watch the Splinter scene. And you said that's the wrong film. It's a different one. So, yeah, that goes to prove how many there were. But yeah, I did enjoy your review of that. Don't know why they changed it to Hell of the Living Dead. I prefer the title Zombie Creeping Flesh, and I think the artwork for Zombie Creeping Flesh was much better. So yeah, I will be catching up on your videos because there's quite a few on there. I looked and I thought, oh, wouldn't mind watching that. I've had the notifications through, but for some reason I never get round to them. But I'm going to start creating more time to catch up with other people's videos now. I mean, I need somebody to replace Dave Olive, and not replace, but do you know what I mean? I used to watch his religiously and talk about him. So I think maybe you'd be a good alternative to Dave. I'll be picking up on your videos and talking absolute bollocks about them at any time now. You were on about Bambi the Reckoning the other week. I think you put the trailer on, which I took a look at and actually thought, it doesn't look that bad. I know. Promised I wouldn't watch any more crap films, but that one don't look too bad. I think you put, yeah, I got nothing. Yeah, I got nothing. I don't know what that means, but yeah, I don't think you sound overly impressed. Jason and Mark, you just laughed at it. I thought the trailer looked better than the whole of Velocipaster, which actually wouldn't take much doing, would it? The synopsis, as I've read it, the film follows Zana, Roxanne McKee, and her son Benji, Tom Mulheron, who find themselves in a car wreck and soon hunted down by the vicious killing machine Bambi. It don't even sound right, does it? According to the Fandom website, and I'm quoting off notes here, Bambi the Reckoning is an upcoming British independent slasher film directed by Dan Allen and written by Rhys Warrington. The film serves as the third instalment of the Twisted Childhood universe. I didn't know there was such a thing. And is a horror retelling of Felix Salten's Bambi, A Life in the Woods. I'm fairly sure that when this novel first came out, and if the Disney version was in the 40s, that novel must have been out way before then. I'm sure Felix Salten didn't see this coming. I'm fairly sure of it. Somebody had put "Welcome to the Pooniverse." Pooniverse. Seriously. And we've also got these gems to look forward to from the Pooniverse. Here we go. Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, which I think I've mentioned before. God. Pinocchio Unstrung. Jesus. Pooniverse Monsters Assemble. Pooniverse Monsters Assemble. I wonder what that's a mistake of. Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 3, which will feature heffalumps and woozles. I have no idea what they are, but it's going to feature heffalumps and woozles. And Awakening Sleeping Beauty. I can see this is going to get out of hand. The Twisted Childhood universe has even got its own Wikipedia page, by the way, which is where most of this has come from. So it is a thing, and it's coming at you. The creator of this universe has also expressed an interest in making movies based on, get this, Teletubbies. This is where it gets really stupid. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, well, they've been done to death for a start. And the Powerpuff Girls, which I believe was a cartoon on, was it Cartoon Network or Boomerang years ago? Never watched it, I've only heard of it. I can see this getting really out of hand and actually a little bit boring, if I'm being honest. But we'll see what happens with that one. Another bit of news this week that came out: Blumhouse and Lionsgate are teaming up for a remake of the Blair Witch Project. To quote the news article, Blumhouse is the gold standard in the horror space. Is it? It might have been at one time, but if Night Swim is anything to go by, and the horrible reviews I've heard to Imaginary, the Killer Teddy Bear, are anything to go by, they're not the gold standard anymore. Maybe not. Generating blockbuster results from a string of modestly budgeted films, including the Paranormal Activity franchise, fair enough, Insidious, Enjoyed the Insidious movies. The Purge, never seen them. Sinister, very good. Halloween, oh, of course they were part of that, weren't they? Five Nights at Freddy's, which I've heard good things about, and Megan, which I saw had high expectations of. Fatal mistake having high expectations of anything nowadays. But it completely underwhelmed me. I thought it was okay. Would I watch it again? No, definitely not. Even though they released what they classed as an uncut version, where they reinstated a lot of the violent scenes that were cut out of it to get a 15 certificate. Would I watch it? No, definitely not. If it's just going to be more violent, what's the point? What else have we got here? It includes award winners Get Out, which I thought was okay, but again, I'd heard so many brilliant things about this movie, Get Out, and I watched it and thought, yeah, it was okay, but yeah, again, didn't understand the end. It was one of them. Black Klansman, which I've not seen, but I've got on Blu-ray upstairs. I do need to watch that one because I get the feeling it's the kind of movie that I would really, really enjoy. Blumhouse films have grossed nearly £6 billion at the worldwide box office. I mean, if it hadn't have been for the Blair Witch Project, we wouldn't have had any of those, almost certainly, and all the other hundreds of found footage movies that have come after it over the years. I do enjoy the UFO stroke alien abduction movies that have come out, found footage ones. Do enjoy those. There is one called Mr. Scary or Mr. Creep, which I've got hold of, which I've seen the trailer to, and it looks absolutely amazing. But again, I'm going to go into that with low expectations, and then I won't get disappointed. But I do love a good found footage film if they're done right, and you watch them in the right conditions, i.e. at night with the lights off. They can be really, really unsettling. I think the only one I didn't enjoy was not Influencer. What was it called? I forget I said that because I can't remember the title. My memory nowadays is bleeding terrible. But yeah, I mean, Blair Witch Project was an absolute game changer. And I do remember watching that, and it got into my head, and I could not get rid of it for weeks afterwards. And I still find it unsettling now to watch. But it was an absolute game changer, and it opened the door for all these other ones. So if they're going to do it, Blumhouse and Lionsgate, please do a decent job. Don't fuck it up. I will definitely take a look at it. I did watch the 2016 reboot. I can't remember much about it, which basically says that it wasn't that memorable. Yeah, I will be taking a look at that one. So just hope they do a good job of it. A couple of quick bits here. Are You Being Served? The movie is being released by Kino Lorber on Blu-ray. Absolutely of no frigging use to me whatsoever. I think I talked about this last week, maybe, because it's going to be region locked, obviously, with it being Blu-ray. Dave Taylor, you were saying, I've obviously seen this a couple of times, but I don't think it was very good compared to the series. Pale imitation of the series. The series was absolutely superb, but the movies, whenever it's on, I'll always end up watching it, but for no other reason than it's usually there's nothing else on. Steve Mack, you were saying you're going to have to get that multi-region player, Tony. You're finding a lot of these now. You're absolutely right. I will be looking into it at some point. I can only hope that they'll. Why have these labels not got a UK distribution plant or whatever? It's a shame that they would have so many customers if they started releasing these things sort of not region locked. It'd be brilliant, but they don't seem to want to do it. You put at the end of that, Steve, having hashtag having your cake and eating it. I don't know. I have no idea what that means. You'll have to explain that one to me. Jaws 3, which was in 3D, and Jaws 4 The Revenge are to get 4K releases later this year. So somebody put an article on showing two amazing pieces of artwork, and a lot of people were saying, is this for real? Is this actually happening, or is this a spoof thing? And Steve, you kindly replied, yes, they are legit. Universal announced them a few days ago. I love the artwork. Now I've got Jaws 2 on 4K. I do need to invest in a copy of Jaws in 4K, which I've only got on Blu-ray. And the other two, Jaws 3 and 4, are both on Blu-ray. But if they come out on 4K, it'd be rude not to update them and basically have the set. So I will be looking at getting those. The other thing was the trailer for Maxine released this week. There were two horror movies, probably about a year apart, called X and Pearl. They're both apparently brilliant. I'll come on to them in a bit. But I watched the trailer for Maxine and it looks absolutely awesome. I think Jason K, our Ginger Ninja, I think you posted it. And as soon as I'd watched that trailer, I thought, fuck, I need to watch X and Pearl quick. So I ordered copies of both of them. So let's see. I think that's pretty much everything that's on there. So I've got some bits and pieces, just going back on it, making sure I've not missed anybody out. Don't want anybody to feel left out. No. So I've got a crap load of shed load. Really must stop swearing all the time. Just bear with me. Now then. Oh. Here we go. I'll start with, as usual. Oh, hang on. Quick review. First off, just to prove I am cracking on with it, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Really, really enjoyed this. This is the last of the Andrew Garfield double. So I just thought this was really good. It's a long film, 2 hours and 20 minutes, but really, really glad I caught this. I can now happily move on to the Tom Holland trilogy, which I'll be getting from upstairs and moving down by the TV at any time. But I thought this was really, really good. I think the villain in this was Electro, Jamie Foxx. But yeah, if you've not seen it, highly recommended. Another thread that I started not too long back was shocking movies. Oh, babe. 1001 movies that shocked the world. Now I've picked one that I hadn't actually got, and I've not had a chance to watch this yet. The next one I'm going to be taking in at some point is The Birth of a Nation. Now this is a silent classic from must be about 1915. It is a controversial number, this one, to do with racism, slavery, all that kind of thing. It's 3 hours plus long. This was a major thing back in 1915 when most movies were like 15-20 minutes maximum. This was D.W. Griffith's eighth wonder of the world, apparently. So, but this is the next one I'm going to be taking in at some point, as it's in 1001 movies that shocked the world. So I'll let you know what I think of that when I've done it. Right, I'll start with the magazines, as I usually do. Just bear with me. I've got let's see, the latest. Oh, I just not that camera. Clumsy sod. Latest issue of Yours Retro. You got Audrey Hepburn, Ben Hur, Minder, Michael J. Fox, and Errol Flynn, to name but a few. Julie Andrews is on there somewhere. Oh, the Muppets. Latest Doctor Who magazine. Basically talking to Millie Gibson, who I believe is Nkuti Gatwa's new companion on the new series. There's some William Hartnell articles in there that I was interested in, so I'll give that a read. The latest, I keep knocking this camera, excuse me just a second, there we go. Latest episode of Sight and Sound, which has got articles, as you can see, on Dune and all other independent things, and the latest the latest copy of Total Film. Now, I didn't mention actually, what I was going to do some weeks ago. I'd heard about a book about a cinema that I used to go to when the family and me used to go on holiday years ago to Prestatyn in Wales. We used to stop at a Pontins holiday camp. Prestatyn had an old cinema, a real old flea pit, and I used to go there every single year for 1 or 2 afternoons a week, depending on what they'd got on. And I found out by accident that somebody had written a book on the history of the Scala cinema. And I found this by accident when I was looking for that Scala book, that massive Scala book. So I thought, oh, I'll have that little book. Could not find it anywhere. I went on sort of forums of Wales and forums in Prestatyn and, rare book website. Could not find this bloody book anywhere. Where do you think I found it in the end? A book on the Scala cinema in Prestatyn, Canada, believe it or not. A site called Biblio, and a shop called, I think it was the Stonefront bookshop in some little coastal town in Canada. I think it cost me about 20 quid including shipping, which wasn't bad considering the book itself cost about £7 when it first came out. And there it is. I've been after this for so long, I just hope it lives up to expectations. It is a history of the cinema that I used to go to every single year. I saw some great films there. Little Lord Fauntleroy was one that I went to see with Rick Schroeder and Alec Guinness. There were quite a few, I can't remember a lot of them, but I used to love this place. It was just an old style cinema which was similar at the time to the Odeon in Burton, which was approaching its sort of final years when I started going here. But I'm going to be reading that and I'll let you know when I've read it what I think of it. Right, some DVDs and Blu-rays. Let's see. We were talking about this last week. You can't actually see because of the label's still on it. Network. Classic 70s, Faye Dunaway, Peter Finch, William Holden. Basically set around a television network, just biting satire, cruel comedy in parts. But I loved this. And the fact that when I looked on Amazon, the cheapest copy you could buy was I think 20 something pound, and I found this one on eBay for £8. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to grab that before it shoots up in price. So I'm looking forward to watching that again. And as I mentioned, X, directed by Ty West, I believe. Nobody of any notable in it. Well, Mia Goth, I don't know whether she started in this, but she's in this. I've heard brilliant things about this, and watching the trailer for Maxine made me think, you know what, you need to grab a copy of that. So I grabbed that and the sequel, Pearl. So I need to watch these both before Maxine comes out, and I can watch that as well. Now then, what else have I got here? I thought I wanted to go for, and I don't know what started this. I don't know whether I'd seen a trailer or a picture or what it was, but I thought, you know what, I've never seen that. Conan the Barbarian, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know why, it's not really my kind of film, but for some reason I think I'd read somebody's review saying that, you know, how brilliant it was, and I thought, yeah, I've not seen that, so I grabbed that one. I also grabbed Conan the Destroyer, which came out probably a couple of years after. Again, looking forward to having a look at that. The remake starring, now I thought it was Jason Momoa, but I can't read this writing. I can't see. But that is a sort of a reboot which came out about 2016, I think, something like that. So I want to take a look at that. And this was on the same page, so I thought, why not? Red Sonja. This is Brigitte Nielsen, or Bridget Nielsen, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Again, never seen it. I've heard this one's actually quite brutal for its time. So I want to take a look at that. This is one that was recommended to me by my good friend Steve Mack, Mr. Let's Talk Criterion, Rafifi. I don't know very much about this. It has got a silent scene in it that has gone down in movie legend. So this is one that I definitely want to have a look at. Again, I couldn't find it anywhere else. This was on, it wasn't on Amazon, I think it was on eBay. But I definitely want to take a look at that. Jules Dassin. And I finally got the Unholy Trinity, I believe it's called, on 4K, which is The Wicker Man, Witchfinder General, and Blood on Satan's Claw. Now, I'm going to do a separate little review video for these, basically because I'm running out of time on here, and I think it might be an idea. Again, I just want to see how many views it gets with just having one single subject. But I think I'm safe to say I am very, very happy with all three of those. So look out for that video. I'll be doing that one if I can, straight after this one, and I'll upload it as soon as I can. So, right, I think that pretty much covers it all for this week. Thanks ever so much for joining me, folks, as per usual. I'll be back with you about the same time next week, 4 AM, be there or be square. Have a brilliant week. If you've enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, share, all that. As I say, have a wonderful week, guys, and I will see you all again next weekend. Thanks a lot. Take care. Ta-da.